Is on our.
Welcome, everyone, to the September meeting of the Board of Directors of the Columbia Economic Development Corporation. Thank you to all board members and all staff for the service you provide to Columbia County and its inhabitants. We have a full agenda today and we want to get started. First is the Executive Committee report. At the Executive Committee meeting, the committee recommended that the board approve the updated employee handbook that you have in your packet. Starting on page two. There are no major changes, but Mike,
In terms of the process, we have, in addition to Andy Howard as our general counsel, we have Elena DeFeo Keen as our special HR counsel. And she is also the HR attorney for Columbia County. And she reviews this and incorporates whatever regulatory or statutory updates are required based on passage of new regulations or statutes. And she reviewed this and she actually prepared it. We reviewed it with staff in July, and then the executive committee reviewed it, and we recommend that you approve it, and we will post it not only for the staff internally, but on our website. Any questions?
questions, comments on the
It's with Hinman Stroud, which is a Albany-based law firm.
What's the frequency? Out of curiosity, more
Every 2 years.
every 3.
Every two.
Oh, every 2. No.
And she'll send us, if it's something that's, significant, she sends out to all of her clients, a notice. And, if it requires updating the manual, she, moves it. I think, as you're going into a search, I think it's a good thing to have updated, and, I do think, it does lay out for the board and staff and others, the benefit structure.
is there a motion to approve?
So, I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you. On to the loan committee, and making his first report as chairperson of the loan committee, Justin Golden.
How are you, everybody? So we met last week, however, we did not have a quorum. So the idea today would be to review the Drop Dead Barbershop and Tommy B's loan request. We did discuss them, there were no opposition. Questions with that? One from Steve present his loans.
Okay. Thank you. Drop Dead Barbershop is based in Catskill, and they're looking for $25,000. This will be a 5-year note, and SBA loan at 7 3/4. It's to purchase an existing business and to provide some working capital, and our collateral is lien on business assets and the personal guarantee of the principal. Are there any questions?
What business are they taking over?
Casa Urbana.
One of the longest tenured
Yeah.
businesses in Hudson.
Well, they've been in Catskill now for a few years.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried.
What's next? We have Tommy B's, and then we'll circle back to the proposed dashboard. I realize we skipped that.
Hey, good morning, everyone. So this is Tommy B's Pizza. You'll recall that an application was approved by the board for this restaurant for their Hudson location. They've decided against relocating their business to Hudson. They'll be staying at their current location in Prairieville, but they still needed to come to us for an application for funding. So this is Tommy B's Pizza, their Prairieville location restaurant, $50,000 request across 72 months, at least $70.57 a month, 7.75% interest. Purpose of the loan is equipment inventory and some working capital as they renovate the location in Prairieville. And then the collateral being a lien on business assets and the personal guarantee of the principals. This is Tommy B's Pizza. Thank you.
So we had previously approved a loan.
We had
for this
previously
location.
approved a loan for what was plans to relocate here to Hudson. They were given an opportunity to stay at their location in Prairieville, but expand within that footprint, and they chose that route. There was enough of a variance between the two that we had asked them to reapply, which is why we're presenting what was realistically a new loan request to the board.
Questions or comments? If not, is there a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Portfolio dashboard.
Thank you. We reviewed this with, the loan committee last week. Loan client A and loan client D, we've spoken about at length. Loan client C is making payments on a monthly basis. They're not getting caught up and they are incurring late fees. We're actively tracking down loan client B and E. They have both promised to bring their accounts current this week and we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Questions or comments? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And the motion is carried. Thank you, loan team. On to the president and CEO's report.
Okay, ask you to take one and pass this around. It's a report that Steve and Martha put together, so it follows nicely with the loan committee. We had a inquiry from a potential client with respect to our demographic profile in terms of the loan clients that we serve. And as soon as you all get a copy, Martha, would you like to walk through it? Here.
Who made that request?
That's it, a person who wanted a loan. And at least stuff that perhaps. But Steve and Martha did put this report together. And I thought it was something that we perhaps should have been doing anyway, but it's really a great report in terms of where we stand. In terms of serving all the members of our community.
Yes, we went back to 2013, which is when we started using our down home loan management software, so it was easy to get some demographic information. And you can see we are tracking women-owned, minority-owned, startups, home-based businesses, and low to moderate income applicants. And so we have a breakdown in those first two charts. Specifically, they wanted to know how, we were doing with racial minorities. And so we were able to put together a report, back in 2020, we partnered with the Galvin Foundation and the City of Hudson to manage a $100,000 grant program specifically for minority-owned businesses. We listed all the businesses that received a grant. On the back of that page, we also copied a flyer that we had produced. We partnered with both Black Entrepreneur Market and E for All. That was also in 2020 to provide technical assistance to minority business owners. I forget how many people appeared at that event, but dozens. And so that we thought was a successful program. I included something on the next page about the Hudson Bangladesh Community Cultural Event where CEDC served as the fiscal agent. We also talk about our New York State Micro Enterprise Grant Program and how many of those recipients were minority, women-owned, veteran-owned, and low income. And we put together a chart showing for the last 10 years, how many loans we've made and what the dollar amounts are, and how many people graduated from our micro business program. So yeah, we'll continue to update this as we move forward.
I think it was a good check, and I know that we consciously attempt to be sure that we're serving the entire community, and this demonstrates clearly that we have.
I think it would be helpful to show the percentage of population.
Yeah,
Right, because it says like 87% white, which doesn't sound great, but if the county is 93% white, then it's actually is good.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
kind of like what we do when we look at how we do with the regional council CFAs.
Right.
We're
Percentage of
we're
population.
12% of the regional population, I'm sorry, we're 6% of regional population, but we're getting 12% of the money.
Correct, so yeah, it'd be good to see that information next.
The second-
The context.
The second report, again, you could take one and. I'll sit. And Justin's gonna be really proud of the report. It's the FDIC market share report, and I went back 10 years to 2015, 2020, 2024 last year, and then this year. You know, as we get the copies around, thought I had made enough, but this will be enough. If you know, First Niagara, in 2015 was still operating before they merged with KeyBank. So I broke those out separately. At that point, KeyBank and First Niagara were 50% of the market, 49.8%. Once after the First Niagara KeyBank merger, you know, they dropped 5 years later to 39.5, 36, 30, and now they're at 37.34. So they're down over the 10-year period, 12.5%. The Kinderhook Bank existed in 2015, National Bank of Kinderhook. They had 25% of the market share. They merged with, or I say, yeah, they merged with Community Bank, which was not in the market. And you know, they have dropped from 25% to 18%. The Bank of Greene County in 2015 was at 8%, 2020, 21%. And now you can see at 27.6%. And that was a 19% jump. And Berkshire Bank has continually declined and is now out of the market. I suppose they still have customers, but I think they're out of. And then TD Bank and Trustco. And I think the Trustco is because they have mortgages and they ask people to have compensating balances. But I thought it was very interesting to see the profile of change in the banking relationship. And I was telling Don Gibson at the hospital event yesterday that I would send him this, but how well you've done to begin to expand your services to the Columbia County community.
Absolutely, and I'm interested in that top line too. We look at the total deposit base. I mean, that's what, almost a 50%. About a 50% increase in the last 10 years in
Right.
total deposits.
And it's flattened. You know, from last year to this year, it's marginally down. But again, it might have been when they did it the week school taxes were due.
Right. Well, then the money was sitting in the bank.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We have been very involved over the last several, since the last meeting, in with respect to broadband, as well as in connection with our efforts to run the county and city industrial development agencies. The state with broadband numbers indicating that they believe we're now down to 805 unserved addresses out of the almost 4,000 addresses that existed as unserved or underserved when we started this effort 7 or 8 years ago. Our consultant believes that, and I agree with him, we're down to about 535. I know that, you know, Rachel has indicated that they've challenged a number of addresses on that list have already served. And I know there was a meeting yesterday or the day before with the state where the 4 providers from the county went up. And my understanding is they told the other providers just keep doing what Mid-Hudson's doing. And that's building out on the peripheral of your existing footprint.
Yeah, that was Friday.
Was it last Friday? Yeah. And so, you know, I think it's we're not losing track of the fact that there's still 500 35 plus people who are not served. The state now has to send these, of the 803, each of the providers, including Starlink, have bid on servicing those and provided a price. And that information now has to be sent to Washington for approval. And then presumably sometime next year, they'll be completing the construction of those addresses. My sense is that that list will continue to go down because the providers now, partly due to the fact that we kept updating them with information, have been building on the periphery of their existing systems to push the competition back as they get closer to each other. I know the county is very pleased where we are. Interestingly enough, the state put everything on hold and asked everyone to resubmit so that Starlink could get in the game. And so I think it's and I think there are about 80 addresses in the county that they're claiming will be served by Starlink, which if you're one of those addresses, you're not too happy probably that you're not getting hardwired. But and what as I think I reported last month that we did receive a 2-year $60,000 a year grant from the Connect All office, $120,000 with a 15% match to work with organizations such as our school districts, libraries, hospital, senior citizen centers, to encourage people, now that they have been connected, to use the broadband services in a way that would enhance the quality of their life. We are now in discussions with the state to see if we can transfer that grant money to undertaking a wireless cellular phone service study. One of the issues that I'm concerned about is we offered to do a study similar to what we did by physically surveying the county with respect to cell strength, like we did checking on the poles for the broadband. What they really want us to do is they want to do that, and then they want us to be the ambassadors to go out and convince people to place cell towers in areas necessary to fill those gaps. And I'm not sure we want to be the at the forefront of being the ones to go in and recommend to a community where they put the cell tower to fill in the gap. But I think the reality of the discussion is interesting, because I don't know that without probably 5-year technology enhancements to the satellite service, anyone really appreciates the fact that the only way you're going to get better cell service in the county is to put up more towers. And once you start that process, it becomes a not in my backyard or not in my view shed issue. So we're still in conversation with them. I don't want to give up the funding, but I also think with the fact that we are now down to 500 plus addresses, is there a better use for that $120,000 than convincing people to use it for home health or use it for ensuring that school children get their assignments? And you may recall during COVID, we did work with the 4 providers in the 6 school districts to ensure that any family that they couldn't afford to connect or didn't have service in their area, we were able to get them the boosters that allowed them to use the cell phone service to get on the internet. So it's an interesting process, and I think we should be very proud of the role we played. We want to thank the 4 providers in the county for their partnership. Early on, it was very difficult. Everyone was a little bit concerned about proprietary data. And it was really during COVID when we were able to work with all 4 providers to identify where school students didn't have service, that they opened up their lists and worked with us to ensure that we could identify if in fact those people could get service but couldn't afford it, or identify where those gaps were. So and we really have had a great relationship with the providers. Chris, Brown, give a quick update on where we are with housing.
I'll try to make it quick. A lot happened past month. Where to start? Last week I went to the Rural Housing Coalition Annual Conference, which for the last time was in Lake George. It was beautiful. Jessica Gabriel says hello to everyone from Jessica Gabriel. One of the nice things that happened there was I was at a panel about the Pro Housing Communities Program that the CEDC has been coordinating for all the towns and the villages throughout the county, or most of the towns and villages. One of their slides was just a map of our county that was all colored in because all of the communities are at least participating. There's an outside chance that by the middle of this month, we will have every town, village and city certified in that program. Why that's important. Right now, there's a project in the city of Hudson, JLE School is being adaptive reused into senior housing. And they're using pro housing infrastructure money for that. And there are a variety of other potential projects throughout the county that would require pro housing certification status in those municipalities to be able to access the pot of funds that the state has available, which is now $750 million. The Plus 180U grant program that RUPCO is running for us, that proceeds apace. One is pretty much done, and then about half of the remaining 13 projects have been committed. They are running into some construction issues. Local contractors typically don't have workers' comp, which is a requirement for most state programs. And that's something that I think Mike and I are going to try to work on to see if there's something CEDC can do there to help. The vacant rental program that RUPCO is running through multiple counties has been funded again, so there will be another round of that. And again, that's rehabilitating currently vacant buildings into no more than 5 rental units. So that's all some good news. Last month, the NISA report stated that our median home sales price was $679,000 for the month of August.
It was 240 in 2019.
Yeah, that's great news for anybody that wants to sell their house and probably leave New York State. Just to put that in context, we had a 14% year-over-year increase. Greene County had a 5% year-over-year increase. Ulster went down 2.7%, and Dutchess went down 0.1%. So we are an outlier in a world of outliers as far as housing prices go.
But did the jump come before in Dutchess and Ulster and now? It's dropped down?
It's sort of been, that's a great point. So you could kind of draw a line up the river south to north, and there's sort of been, if you plotted them all out in a graph, they kind of are hitting. That's right. So it's kind of drive till you can afford, or drive until there are still properties available, essentially.
And it does, I think it was 560 or 70 the month before.
Yes.
And so, you know, if you have 20 homes selling in the course of a month and 3 of them are over $1 million, it's going to skew your median.
Then we have less inventory, less transaction.
Right. Now we had 70 closings last month, which is about what we usually have. The one last thing that I'll say is the end of, it's still September, the end of next month. Tuesday, October 28th will be the virtual housing forum. This will be the 3rd one that we've hosted. The first one is how my position was created and the housing task force was created. Then we had one in 23, and we skipped last year. So a lot has happened between the last virtual housing forum and the upcoming one. This year's presenters are Adam Bosch, the executive director of Path to Progress, who was just at the college last week. We'll have Kevin O'Connor, who is the executive director of RUPCO, and then we'll have Madeline Fletcher, who is at HCR. She's the vice president of small and mid-sized development programs, which are the programs that make the most sense for our communities.
What time is that?
It's going to be from, you should get invitations either today or tomorrow. The invitation is done. We're talking to Riley today to help get the invitation out. I've done as much as my skill set will allow me to accomplish without helping.
And as you'll
without getting
recall, because of our work on broadband, the county board of supervisors asked CEDC to take the lead in focusing the plague lights on affordable housing in the county. And as Chris points out, the initial study that we did with RUPCO resulted in a recommendation that we hire a affordable housing coordinator. And we have had, as Chris said, 2 other updates. And, yeah, the supervisors are looking forward to having update for the residents of the county and the stakeholders. As Chris said, the ADU that he was referring to was the $2 million accessory dwelling unit grant that we had arranged and applied for on behalf of the county. Because it involves such, the grant program involves a lot of technical aspects. The county, at our recommendation, the county contracted with RUPCO, which is the Rural Preservation of Ulster County. But now they do 5 counties, 6 counties. They're involved in the Greenberger Wellness Hub project in Greenport. And they're also involved in a project that we're looking at with them and the Greenberger Foundation and Chatham again. Chris has also been working extensively with individual developers. And maybe we could just run off 3 or 4 or 5 of the towns that they're in without getting specific to the project.
Yeah, Valatia, Stockport, Ghent, Chatham,
Greenport.
did I say Greenport? Yeah, Greenport, Greenport's in there, yeah, so, there are a variety of projects, now, Mike likes to say, was it for every 10 potential projects, you get one, we're trying to get that number down to 9.
The other thing I've been working on is our role as the providing the administrative services to both the county and the city IDA. As Chris mentioned, the J.L. Edwards School project, as you may recall, Penrose out of Philadelphia is the 4th developer to look at it, including Hudson Development Corporation, who are looking at it for a potential community center. We've been talking with Penrose since January, after we talked to them prior to the HTC getting interested in it. And because of our partnership with them, we kind of backed off our conversations with RUPCO, but now that they're not moving forward, RUPCO has a contract with the school board, which there has to go to a vote of the school board taxpayers. In RUPCO? No. Penrose.
Okay, that was
Has a contract with the school district, but it has to be validated by the taxpayers through a vote, which I think the special election is next month. In the meantime, they came to us on July 31st and said that they would like to submit an application for IDA funding, including mortgage recording tax exemption, sales tax exemption, and a pilot. And that they would like to have approval by September 10th, so that when they submitted their application for the state for low-income housing tax credits, they would get points for being shovel-ready in terms of moving forward with the project. Otherwise, they felt they wouldn't get enough points and they'd have to wait a whole year. Getting that done in 6 weeks was a very difficult. We had 6 IDA meetings within 6 weeks, and their first proposal was to pay $500,000 over the course of 30 years net present value. We got them up to $1.2 million, and it's a percentage of rent, so it's not a fixed schedule. So not only was the administrative and public notice and public hearing process, but we also had to negotiate the in terms of the transaction. And I think it was approved unanimously by the IDA. I think they took into account the fact that the building's been empty for 10 years. At least. And that also it's going to serve seniors who make have 50 to 60% of median household income, which is 40 grand.
about 44. Yeah.
About 40 grand, 44 grand. That's 2 average social security checks. So I think that, it'll be tremendous benefit to the community. But now they have the obstacles of getting a pro-housing infrastructure grant and a low-income housing tax credit grant. And the approval of the voters of the Hudson City School District, which, as you know, includes several communities outside of the city limits who are served by the school district.
I suppose just to say it, I don't have any public updates on the Galvin transfer of properties to BART, but there are a number of meetings that the BART group is having with various stakeholders from both the city and the county.
And we've met with them and our continual dialogue with them. Finally, you'll see on the, when you leave, they're starting to put in the trees and the patio for the Galvin Depot District project. Originally was addressed at 708 State, is now addressed at 76 South North 7th. It's a 65 unit apartment serving 20 units or more of families that have 80% of median income, which is around
For two people, it's 72,000.
72,000. And the remaining units are people up to 130%. And Chris is going to explain the difficulty we're having renting it because of the unique aspects of the state program.
There's a very narrow window, so there's only so much that you can charge for rent because you don't want a housing cost burden people, which is essentially if you're paying more than 30% per month for your housing cost burden. So there's a maximum that landlords can charge, but there's a minimum that you need to be able to pay to be credit worthy, which is 35 times the monthly rent. That window is incredibly small. So the Galvin has 3 levels of preferred tenant. So the first one would fit perfectly within that window, and then the second level of preferred tenant would be somebody who doesn't quite fit in that window, but this would be their primary residence. And then the third level is just whoever can move in.
So example, if you take $2,000 in rent times 35, it's $70,000. And
You're 2,000 away from being over 80%.
2,000 away from being over.
It's like, this is the housing one.
And you can't ask a landlord, and normally you can go up to 40%. I'm sorry, 40 times rent. So Galvin at least is, they're trying to do the right thing and being under as low as they can go. But you can't ask a landlord to take in a tenant that doesn't have the ability to pay the rent, especially in this environment where it's very difficult to
Get people out.
get people out. So, we're very busy. We have a lot of, there's a new IDA project that will be presented to the county IDA next week. It's the Summit project. It's a project located in the old knitting mill in Philmont. There's a potential project that we anticipate some involvement with in Claverick, the old Claverick College. It's just north of the Route 23 9H intersection. That's a $40 million hotel resort project that's publicly aware because of its involvement for planning board. The city IDA, we're working on a $40 million project that would convert the old Elks Club over on Union Street into a boutique hotel. Again, these are $1 million a key projects. I brief study for the city of Hudson IDA where Riley went out and we got the rack rate off Expedia for the 3rd Wednesday in March and 4th of July. So that we could see what the jumps were and below shoulder something through high season. And then we in both cases we did a graph, and we do have 100 rooms in the under $125 a night based on the St. Charles. And you have 80 rooms between the Maker and the Whaler and others at the 450 and up. And you have a perfect bell curve in between, because there were a number of people indicating that we didn't need any more hotels in Hudson. There were too many, and our argument is that we need enough in each bucket. And you're not, it's not like someone's building 3 125 bed Holiday Inn Expresses. And again, the city has a prohibition against flag hotels. So that's taken a lot of our time. We are looking this year at discussing with both IDAs. Our current fee structure is $12,000 for the administrative work, and then $10,000. 10% of the IDA's fee capped at $10,000. On a $40 million project, the $10,000 isn't cutting we're losing, it's just absorbing too much of our time. And, on a $40 million project, the fee is going to be $400,000. So we do think that we're looking to negotiate, discuss with both IDAs. I skipped the finance report, but I go there. Any questions on projects we're working?
More of a comment, I mean, I think on the cell tower thing, obviously, I'm very aware of the contentious nature of cell tower locations, but. The summer I was up at, we rented a house up in near Cannonsville, and there's an interesting project there. I thought it was an interesting case study where they found a good location. They have really excellent cell coverage up there, unlike in Kinderhook. And they found a location that kind of plotted out with view shed studies before they tried ones that didn't, and I think if whoever does this could work more proactively with Santa Hudson and CLC, it would help to identify, you could do, they can do, Santa Hudson does studies about, what you can see from where and all that sort of stuff, and it gives you a good map to help pick a better location than a worse location.
And I know that, involving both of those, and I know there's 5 or 6 applications already before various planning boards around the county that have been submitted by the providers. But I don't know that they go through that process. I know there was a recent, a year and a half ago or so, there was a tower that went up in New Lebanon in an effort to provide better, police, fire, and safety communications. And it was very difficult, even when that was the purpose of it. It wasn't simply to have a cell service. And we all know, you can always spot those ones that look like a tree.
I have a question about the hotels. I'm just wondering if there have been inquiries from flag properties or flag brands
Well,
into Greenport or.
as I said, the city has a prohibition against any chain, whether it's Starbucks or Holiday Inn.
Yeah, so I think
And-
that's the.
And
Yeah,
the Wick Hotel does have the Marriott reservation system.
So,
okay,
But they're not technically a Marriott, they're an affiliate. And
but I see these big lots on like
Well,
there,
they changed
right,
all the-
that could.
there was a proposed hotel across
That's what we need.
from the falls.
Affordable hotels. Affordable.
Yeah, you have groups that wanna come in, conferences that wanna
Correct.
come in,
Yeah.
you
There
know,
was a,
arts productions and. Like I'm on the board of Hudson Hall and they have to piecemeal rooms all over the
Yeah.
place. It's just not, if we had like a Hampton Inn, it'd be like, oh, we're gonna book 8 rooms, whatever.
there was a
What
proposal,
about all accessible rooms at the Flanders site? All
Yeah.
on one level, no stairs involved.
and it'd be like the Wick where you can see the ceiling with the original pipes, and
Right,
there was a proposal that CEDC lost a lot of money on before I
At the
came.
gas station,
It was out across from the falls, as I understood it.
yeah, the B&O press.
And we did have a proposal that never went anywhere from Sonny Patel, who owns the beer cave in Kingston and other places in Hudson Valley. He wanted to put the beer cave on that property across from the falls in the front with a Hampton Inn in the back. I still think there's a need for it. I know if you're working for a major corporation, you have to stay in a flag because they have discounted affiliated relationships. And occasionally I have been aware of some, major accounting firm employees having to stay in Coxsackie at the thruway exit.
yeah.
Right,
Because there's 2 flag hotels there, or in Kingston.
well, that James Newberry became a VOCO. IHG is one of my clients, so I'm really tapped into all of it. So you've got private investors who are building hotels that then are using to that point, just the reservation system,
Yeah.
it seems like. Yeah, it's too bad that they're not allowing flag hotels when you've got flag hotels that are owned by private owners and are just using the reservation.
Well, they did make the exception for, we were able to make the argument for the WIC that the Marriott reservation system didn't make you a Marriott. It was the service that you're,
We do run into that issue with the college. Lots of opportunities for us to host conferences, events, large scale SUNY affiliate groups. And it's always the hotel that prevents us from hosting.
so we will, call Mr. Patel this afternoon.
That's the countywide that they don't like it or citywide?
It's just a city.
Just the city.
Yeah.
It's any franchise, I think Martha, you'll know, is that you can't have more than 2 locations.
Yeah, any franchise.
True, though, there are,
Savona snuck in on.
yeah, I was gonna say, there's a few.
There's a few.
Well, you can't really consider them a chain.
Depends how good your.
I don't understand this.
On the finances,
Page 49.
page 49. You know, the balance sheet is up, from last year, but, it's basically the same portion as it was last month. And it's primarily due to, I think, $124,000 more in our CEDC loan account. $52,000 in our SBA reserve loan account and $71,000 in our SBA loan account. And the fact that we did another grant, where when the state sends the county the money and the county sends us the money, we have to book it as an asset and a liability. And, so, you know, it's pretty, it's up, $668,000, primarily due to the loan fund and grants. Any questions on the balance sheet? On the income statement, we go almost to the bottom, for total income. We're down $14,700. 10 of that is, not receiving the, administrative IDA fee for, the Crescent IDA project in Hudson, which was approved but hasn't closed. I don't anticipate Jail Edwards closing this year. And we may have a closing on the Casetta Hotel at the Elks Club. So between those two, Crescent and the Elks Club, I think we'll pick up that $10,000 that we're behind in income on administrative revenue. So we're down, 1.7% on income to date. On expenses. We're down on every category, except grant expense. We receive money from the state that we, then, distribute out. We, didn't budget for, the second edition of the $350,000 micro enterprise grant. We also, had some expenses from the land bank that we did not anticipate. But we also are getting reimbursed by the, land bank for those expenses. And, on the interest for the SBA, I think I've reported before that, I had not anticipated that, the IDA during COVID basically either didn't charge interest or deferred interest. And, we made that up, on the, budget that we are going to present to the finance committee at our October 12th meeting. So our expenses are down by $97,000. Most of that is significant portion of that is the fact that we didn't replace the staff person. So I think we're, consistent with where we've been in the past, and I I think, you know, we'll certainly end the year at a point where we can recommend to you that we increase our loan loss allocation. You know, it is, important as we get more SBA money that we increase that. We haven't had significant losses, but, by having that number increased in proportion to our loan, portfolio, it allows us, if there is a loss, to take it, from that account and not have it affect the income. That you experience the loss. And so, I always get in an argument with the accountants as to, how much is enough in that account, but you never know. We are at the finance committee, previous finance committee meetings of the, we've discussed going out, an RFP, for accounting services. And we will be discussing that at the, finance committee meeting. We have a draft based on, what Empire State Development just used, ready to go if the committee decides to move forward with that. Yeah, we have been with the same accounting firm for probably 50 years. Would you say that? Well, at least as long as I've been here. And it's a very simple, we're not a complex, organization, except for the fact that we get the federal money that requires the single audit. But we are almost at $40,000 a year in accounting fees, and even if we can save 10 or 15% in this process, you know, it's incumbent on us to do that. We're very pleased with the service that we've been getting from Y and the predecessor firm, but you know, we will discuss that at the finance committee, and if there's no objection based on the finance committee's decision, we would be, if we do decide to go forward, we want to release it so that we not wait till the October meeting for this committee, the board to fully approve it. Because I do think it's to some degree a management decision as to whether you go out to bid or not, but I think that you know, we just want to be in a situation where if we do decide to do it, that we give the people enough time. The auditors don't really come in until February or March anyway, but you know, we would want to have someone in place by year end.
Questions or comments on the treasurer's report? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Move to approve.
So. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried.
Do you need this approved, Lisa? Did we, the calendar?
Okay, do the minutes.
Yeah, the number.
Minutes of the August 26th meeting, any questions or additions, revisions?
Second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. It's not in your packet, but it was handed out at your place this morning. This is the dates of all the board and committee meetings for 2026. And if there are no questions or changes on that, I entertain a motion. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Upcoming meetings, the membership committee is going to meet today, immediately following this meeting. The finance committee meets on October 14th. That'll be a reviewing the proposed budget. Loan committee Monday, October 20th. And the board meeting in October is Tuesday, October 28th. And we'll review the budget in that meeting as well. On the subject of the budget, there are some contractual issues that I need to discuss with you in executive session. If someone would make the motion to enter executive session, please.
Motion. 1 second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Thanks, Chris. All right, we're out of executive session, and we're next on the agenda is any comments from the public. I don't think we have any members of the public participating. So we'll move on to any additional topics, any matters that any board members would like to bring to the board meeting. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you all.
Thank you all.